Okay, so I got some thoughts. I got some crazy thoughts. So first off, my bad. About the no man. So the Lenovo wasn't it for me. Like it, yeah. It only came to be a thing when I noticed certain things that I just couldn't deal with for a machine that was almost $1,300. Right. So number one, the finish on the Lenovo. Bro, that thing was a fingerprint magnet. Like I couldn't deal with that. Like I looked past it initially because I was like, all right, just an easy wipe down. But it wasn't an easy wipe down with that. Like not in the slightest bit. So, all right, that was number one. Number two, I didn't do 100% of my research, right? I know better, but in the sake of, oh, let me be the first to get this so I can try it out because that's what I do. It was, yeah. I didn't notice that there were three different SKUs for the Snapdragon X Elite processors. I didn't know that. But with a little bit of research, I probably would have found that out. Um, there's three different SKUs. There's the 82, which is reserved for the Samsung Galaxy Edge, right? As of right now, that's the only one with that processor in it. Then you got the 80, which is in the Microsoft Surface and a couple other laptops, right? Okay. And the Surface Book or Surface Pro. And then you have the 78, which was in the Lenovo. Now, I won't get into all the specifics, but as you can see, the benchmarks here, they differ, right? Okay. And they differ. That was one thing I just couldn't deal with, right? So I had the lower end X Elite processor, not what I wanted to do. So I watched a couple other videos on YouTube and I seen the benchmarks. I seen the comparison between the two with the Galaxy Edge versus the Surface. It seems like the 80 is pretty solid, but we got it here in the lab. We're going to put it through its paces and see exactly what that 80 does. Now, the other thing that I just did not go with the Lenovo, right? I couldn't get down with the trackpad. I couldn't do it. I tried to look past it, right? I really did, but I just couldn't do it. It made the laptop feel cheap because there was no haptics there. And obviously, when you have that, you have to click in certain areas on the trackpad, right? Now, the Surface, oh my gosh, the trackpad is amazing. On par with what Apple is offering in their laptops, right? That made me feel so much better about the decision for me to slide the Lenovo and pick up the Surface. I had to. Now, the Surface laptop, I really haven't gotten into the weeds of things yet on it, but I can tell you this. Number one, I haven't charged it since I got it. And I've done the complete install process. And right now I am at 55%. Now, mind you, I got this last night, set it up, did all the things I need to do, ran a Geekbench. And as of this recording at 10:31 a.m., I'm at 55%. And it was at 80% when I opened it. So, battery life, crazy. 100% crazy. Um, Yeah, and that's with Windows updates, all the updates to all the apps, me restoring some things. Yeah, this thing is a battery champ. Now Lenovo did the same thing. It was sipping battery too. So that's promising for these Snapdragon X Elite chips. Um, but one thing I do or I am going to miss is the display in the Lenovo. That thing was amazing. Now, that's like yeah, that's not really a great comparison, but I knew that was going to be a trade off with that because that was a 3K OLED panel, and this one is not. Now, is this display bad? Not at all. Microsoft has done some amazing work here to make this display look crisp. It does have HDR, has 120 hertz versus the Lenovo had 90 hertz refresh. So that's a plus. It does have adaptive, so it doesn't drain the battery. So that's another good thing. But initially, man, I'm really digging this Surface. Yeah, the build quality. All right, I guess you heard enough at this point, right? But wait, there's more. And here comes the render test. Now, I didn't do anything crazy on this render test, but um, based on what I did on Lenovo, yeah, it took about 22 minutes, man, just for me to render a 2K video, a 10-minute 2K video, with a couple transitions, whatever in there. It took 22 minutes. Now, I must say that the temperature and the fan noise on the Lenovo was a lot lower than what I was getting here on the Surface. Now, this one actually took, let's see how long this actually took. I think it took about, yeah, it took about 7.5 minutes to render a 9-minute video on the Surface. But that comes with more fan noise because, again, the ventilation on the Surface isn't like it was on the Lenovo. The Surface is built into the back of the display and it kind of goes out that way. Whatever weird, funky engineering Microsoft did with that, that's how the ventilation happens, right? The temperature of the Surface itself, it was hot. It was hot. Uh, Maybe that was just because the first time it actually, got spun up. But that was actually my first time actually hearing fan noise on the Surface since I got it. So, yeah. But it did get warm. I did have it set at the best performance on here, and I think it took about a good, I don't know, maybe 20% battery drain. Yeah, maybe no, it wasn't 20%. It was a little less than that, but it did take a significant battery drain. Now, maybe again, this is because the first time I actually spun it up, and I haven't charged the thing since I got it. And currently, I'm sitting at 36% after rendering that video, and doing a couple other things here offline. But yeah, the surface actually got pretty hot. Is that concerning? A little bit, but I think it'll get better with time. But yeah, it did get pretty warm. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for when looking at the surface. But I was impressed with the rendering speeds. Um, I took a look at the video. It looked actually pretty good. Again, I know CapCut isn't running on an update for based on ARM architecture, so it's running through that translation layer that Microsoft has and Snapdragon has, worked with for this ARM chip. So we'll see, man, on down the line whether this thing gets any better. So yeah, I think yeah, it seems pretty solid at this point. So as far as I/O ports on this thing, um, you got the two Thunderbolt and you got a USB A. Let's see what else we got. We got a micro USB adapter here, and we got the Surface connector. So as far as I/O ports, mm, but again with the Lenovo, we didn't get a USB A. So I guess that's a plus up because I got a lot of devices here that still uses USB-A. So I guess that's good. The two Thunderbolt, and that's cool too. The Lenovo had two Thunderbolt, one USB-C on the right side, and no USB-A, no micro SD card slot. Um, yeah. So yeah, as far as IO ports, they're pretty much the same, but I'll get the advantage to the Surface because yeah, I got a lot of things to use with USB A. Oh, and the 3.5 millimeter jack for your headphones or microphones or whatever else you want to use this thing with. So as far as IO ports, it's pretty much the same. So I'm looking forward to getting like hot and heavy into this thing, man, to see exactly what it could do. Am I good with this one? I am. I'm not gonna return this one. I'm gonna stick with the Surface laptop because of the build quality, the trackpad. Um, I mean, again, I'm not comparing it to Apple, but sometimes you just want to touch the display. Sometimes you just want to. And with the MacBook, you can't do that. You're stuck with using an iPad if you want certain things in that ecosystem. But sometimes you just really want the touchscreen. And that added addition, you know, with me transitioning from that to this is actually going to work out really well for me. Am I going to use it a lot? No, but it's there when I need it. Because sometimes, again, you just want to touch the display. So I think I'm good. No, I am good. I am going to stick with this one. We're going to ride this one out, man. We're going to ride this whole Snapdragon X thing on out, man, and see what these developers can come up with. Because from what I'm hearing, I think it's going to actually take off this time. I think. At least I hope so. Because initially these things are showing promise, and then you still have AMD um, and Intel, which is probably gonna hop into this ARM race also because we could have been here a long time ago, but they decided, we didn't really want to do that. We had ARM based chips forever, and our phones are pretty powerful. So yeah, it is what it is, man. But we're here now. We're gonna try to usher this thing in, bro. I'm gonna keep putting some effort into this thing. I'm gonna put it through its paces. And I'm gonna see exactly what it can do, and I'm gonna bring you guys along for the journey if you want to stick around for it. So, with that being said, if you like the content we have here on the set, where we talk about sneakers, electronics, and toys, hit that like and subscribe button, man. Drop a comment below on what you think about this new Snapdragon X ARM race that we got going here. Do you think with this, well, with the next generation, I know we jumping the gun, with this next generation, that we're actually going to get something that is comparable, that can actually compete with Apple in this space? Right now, Apple's on its fourth generation. So you kind of really can't compare these things like that. Even though Microsoft said, oh, it's on par with the M3 processor, it's not. But if it's on par with the M1 or M2 processor, I think that's a win. So again, if you like the content that we putting out here on the set, please hit that like and subscribe button. Comment below what you think about this, man. Are you going for the Surface? Are you going for the Surface laptop? Are you going for any one of the other Snapdragon X Elite or X Plus processors? Are you going for it? Or are you just going to sit it out and see what happens? Let me know down in the comments, man. I'm your boy, Money Matt. I'm going to get on out of here, man. Holla at y'all. Peace.